Hi there, you're watching World is One News. I'm Aisha Sindhu. Let's take a look at the top stories we're tracking for you at this hour. US President-elect Donald Trump rejects reports of a Russian dossier compromising him as nonsense, calls BuzzFeed that published it a pile of garbage, and ticks reporters at his first press conference after election. India warns Amazon for India flag-themed doormats. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj asked the online retailer to apologize immediately and withdraw the products or face action. Rahul Gandhi mocks Prime Minister Narendra Modi, says people will get the promised good days only after Congress returns to power in 2019. And political violence once again in the eastern Indian state of Bengal. At least 2 people killed as 4 unidentified gunmen opened fire at a Trinamool Congress party office in Kharagpur. Top of the hour, President-elect of the United States Donald Trump addressed his first press conference since his win. Trump shot down reports of Russia having a blackmail file on him as quote-unquote fake news. He also congratulated those media outlets that didn't give credence to those reports, saying they'd moved up in his book. Listen in.
It's good to be with you. It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. And it was gotten by opponents of ours, as you know, because you reported it and so did many of the other people. It was a group of opponents that got together, sick people, and they put that crap together. As far as hacking, I think it was Russia, but I think we also get hacked by other countries and other people. We're going to create jobs. I said that I will be the greatest jobs producer that God ever created, and I mean that. I'm going to work very hard on that.
In fact, Trump called BuzzFeed a pile of garbage and ticked off reporters from media organizations that have criticized him.
Information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, and by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm. I just reported that it wasn't this Michael Cohen they were talking about. So all night long, it's Michael Cohen. I said, I want to see your passport. He brings his passport to my office. I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. They had Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead. Quiet. Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Meanwhile, Trump's lawyer said he will be quitting all his business interests to avoid conflict of interest.
He directed me and my colleagues at the law firm Morgan, Lewis & Bockius to design a structure for his business empire that would completely isolate him from the management of the company. He further instructed that we build in protections that will assure the American people the decisions he makes and the actions that he takes as president are for their benefit and not to support his financial interests.
The Trump press conference came on a day when news came in that American intelligence officials have presented President-elect Donald Trump with evidence that Russia has a blackmail file on him. The information presented was allegedly from a credible British former spy, but Trump has dismissed the reports as fake news. WION's Mandy Clark has this story.
The 35-page British memo was published by BuzzFeed. It claims Russian sources told the former UK spy they had extensive material on Trump, including a secret film of him in a hotel suite where President Obama stayed in Moscow, and Donald Trump is alleged to have committed lewd acts. The former spy who compiled the evidence is apparently considered credible by U.S. intelligence agencies. The problem is there is very little in the document's contents that can be independently verified, and there is no official confirmation on the details of the CIA briefing to Donald Trump. Also, the former British spy was hired by political enemies of Donald Trump, and the key documents were compiled to derail his election campaign. Donald Trump has completely rejected the reports as a smear campaign against him, stating on Twitter, "Fake news, a total political witch hunt." Russia has also dismissed the claims. Vladimir Putin's spokesman said, "This information does not correspond to reality and is no more than fiction." The apparent leak by security services comes just days before his inauguration. The news doesn't seem to have much sway with his supporters, and until the dossier can be verified, it will be hard to prove it to be true. Mandy Clark, WION, London.
Clearly, Donald Trump is not a man who loves the press. He is under fire from the media for denying them access. He has called them phony and dishonest. And reports say his security staff have even threatened and manhandled journalists. Here's a report.
Donald Trump appears to disdain the press. Check out these complaints from sections of the media, including the prestigious White House Correspondents Association, which, in November last year, urged him to allow the media to do its job. In a statement, it said, "Not allowing a pool of journalists to travel with and cover the next president of the United States is unacceptable." The National Press Club, which brings together Hispanic, black and woman journalists, also complained that the idea of a press pool that covers all of the president's movements is one that dates back to the Franklin Roosevelt administration. Every president of both parties has treated this important tradition with respect. Except, of course, Trump. In fact, he has publicly branded journalists of the Washington Post as phony and dishonest. Media outfits banned by him include BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, Politico, and many others. Journalist organizations say that Trump is a threat to press freedom. His indifference suggests that he will not challenge foreign governments when they curb media in their own countries. Bureau Report, WION.
The Indian government has taken on the online retailer Amazon. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has demanded an unconditional apology from the company for selling Indian flag-themed doormats. Swaraj has demanded that the company withdraw the product immediately and also warned that failure to do so would result in withdrawal of visas to Amazon officials. Disrespect to the national flag is punishable by a 3-year jail term and a fine.